Steve Jobs once said, innovation is ability to see change as an opportunity, not a threat. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nerdy Optometrist, a podcast channel for all things optometry. And this is your host, Ukti Vora. Before we get into the episode, remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel on all your favorite podcasting channels. And do leave me a review if you've enjoyed this or any other episodes. Getting into introduction of this very special guest, when I say I'm a nerdy optometrist, trust me, I am nothing in front of him. He is a true nerd. And to justify why I'm saying he's a true nerd is his introduction. So let me quickly get into introducing him. Anyama is a dynamic individual with a passion for innovation, AI, and eye care. As the immediate past president of the American Optometric Student Association, he has demonstrated leadership and commitment to advancing the field of optometry. Easy believes in the power of vision, technology, and business to drive positive change. Currently, his focus lies in AI, vision aid devices, and telehealth within the eye care industry. Yes, while we are still struggling to figure these terms out, he's already getting in there. And I'll show you how. As the founder of ODX Health, Chief Information Officer for Fluoresceins Media, and co-founder of Eyedeal Innovation, Easy is at the forefront of leveraging technology to improve eye health outcomes. He's pursuing his optometry studies at the University of Houston with a vision for ending preventable blindness, eliminating healthcare disparities, and reshaping perceptions. Easy is dedicated to redefining how we see the world. And that's how I call him a true nerd. A very warm welcome to the nerdy family, Easy, and it's such a pleasure to have you on the show.
And it's a pleasure to be here. This has been awesome. I don't think everyone gets to learn about the pre-show because they're always different. This one's been really fun. So thank you for having me.
So
And thanks
I
for
have so I have known Easy for almost 2 years now, known as in I think we interacted a couple of times and we kind of did bump into each other. And I was amazed the first time I met him, and this is the story I want to share on air. I met him and he was like, I'm a student, but I have a company. And I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? I didn't even know what I was doing when I was trying to do my optometry studies. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do after I graduate. Here he is building companies and innovations while he's still a student of optometry. Well, that wasn't hard enough for him, I guess. But
oh, tell me about hard.
before we get into the weeds of like and the details of how hard or easy things are, tell me, how did you bump into this world of eye care? Is this something that you had planned for, or was it an accident?
Yeah, it was completely an accident. Everyone in my family is in medicine, so
Oh,
naturally I thought, well, I'd head to medicine. And then I was playing football at the time, so there was an opportunity for me to play in the NFL. So if you don't know, when you're done playing football, you have to train for a moment before you get picked up by an NFL team. So I'm training in Austin and I need a job because I want some extra cash and no one will hire me. I'm only qualified to lift. I'm just a big, strong guy, I guess. And then luckily, the optometrist at my college town hires me as a lead tech, which is amazing to think about considering.
mhm.
And it was a really fun time. I really enjoyed it. I learned a lot about the profession. He's a really good doctor. He was really good at the business aspect of things as well. And that kind of was like my gateway into the profession. Then you learn more about it. You read about people like an Ellie Pelly working on the Google Glass, or you read about just amazing people in optometry. And you're like, oh, you can do a lot with this profession. It's dynamic. Why not pursue it? So that's kind of how I studied up and made that transition.
So your love was definitely not technology back then, if I understand right. It was science and football, and here you are trying to.
Yeah, I just always liked technology, not necessarily building, because you don't realize you can do something until you like there's certain things you need to fall in line before you think you can do something for some reason. So I just liked it though. I'd always buy gadgets and stuff, but I never thought of building something. I was in love with inventors as a kid, but
Okay.
I felt like I could never think like put it together. So it's like starting from the problem definitely helped as far as like trying to find a solution opposed to trying to just invent something.
That's fascinating. And that tells me about how you got into optometry. And I think like all optometrists here that have been as part of my podcast or else anyways I talk to, they're like once you're in the eye care industry, there's no going back. You're in forever. And I'm glad you bumped into optometry from being a lead tech to being an optometry student, soon to be an optometrist. So I'm looking forward to you graduating and doing more wonders. But
Thank you.
while I have to say this out loud, optometry is difficult, and we all know that. And he actually said this offline that it's very hard.
It's terribly difficult. It's not even close to a good idea. I wouldn't recommend anyone pursuing anything. Just the amount of even drawbacks or setbacks or just things that don't go your way are immense. And unless you have a conviction and you really believe in what you're doing, you won't stand a chance, in my opinion. So I don't recommend doing it for fun or
Yeah.
I, yeah, but it is rewarding, I think. I think it will be rewarding.
It will be, and I'm sure it is going to be very, very rewarding. That's why you are here and you are even innovating. It's not just being part of like the educational program, but doing so much more. So you told me how you came into optometry, but tell me how were you introduced into this field of innovation and AI? Because like there's so much going on, but there's only so much that everybody knows.
Correct.
And during your optometry educational program, you decided to, start a company or build something from scratch. So tell me a little more about how did you decide to do that, and what was that journey like?
I'll try to keep it briefer. So, yeah, I told you about how when I was getting in, I discovered like the Ellie Pellys of the world, and I'm like, oh, okay, you can work on cool stuff in optometry. So that was a part of my personal statement, but I never really was working on anything up until a point where I would study all day and try to see like what can I learn on the side that'll make me the best practice owner, because people say that's the gap in the education.
Mhm.
And then you do that well, and you for me, I started at digital marketing, and then COVID happens and digital marketing is even more important, and then you get things like copy AI, the original GPT, people using chat models to work with digital marketing. That's how I got in. So it was like just random. But then after that point, I was obsessed because of the idea of just one, like something that can work for you while you're not working was pretty cool.
Yeah.
But two, just the thought of just this algorithm or tool that just takes data and parses it and discerns it to be useful. So that's kind of how I originally got in as far as that goes. And then you move on to the next layer where it's like, okay, now what are things in eye care that are filled with data?
Hmm.
Are those things, are there AI things for that? Yes or no? And it's like that's where you make that natural transition where you're like, oh, there's not,
Hmm.
and there's a huge need, and this would be really useful relative to some problem. So that's I hope that's a clear answer without like
Didn't
going
you
into
think I should wait till I graduate before I get into it so early on?
yeah, I mean again it's that bug. You can't stop thinking about it until you scratch that itch.
Yeah.
Otherwise I would have loved to. Trust me, I would have loved to just wait. But it's like it's just and optometry specifically, there's a lot of pressure from the ophthalmology side of things or from the people to just build technology on their own that like nobody's going to do it. So
Yeah.
eventually you get that fine, I'll try it myself type of thing, which is why I'm where I am.
That's very interesting that you decided to pick up and do it yourself because this is something that I also am too passionate about, like eye care and technology. And I feel that we should be at the forefront of the change versus waiting for people,
Exactly.
make things or build things for us because then it won't happen the way we want it to be, like the right way. It will eventually become right, but it will be a longer process. Why not do it
Mhm.
yourself, right?
And we'll be the primary users. It'll be like
Exactly.
it's fascinating.
But at the same time, I want to ask you a quick question regarding technology. There's a lot of debate and conversation, as you said, like an algorithm is doing some work while you are away, or is helping you or assisting you. There is this fear of algorithm taking away your jobs or your roles. You're going to be a fresh graduate soon. How do you perceive that fear, or do you feel that you don't feel it at all? Like, what are your thoughts around it?
That's I can understand it. I always equate it to the farm. and farmers. When Henry Ford grew up on a farm, and he thought the car would be really useful. When taking things to town, like they were going to town once a week. But and he was selling them on the efficiency, which is what happens a lot with technology. We sell people on efficiency, but we never quite talk about the identity portion of it. There's an identity portion to being a farmer that says that being a good farmer means you bale your own hay and you carry it to
Yeah.
town on a horse. It's the same in optometry, where there are components of what it means to be an optometrist that we are afraid we'll lose, and that's why we think our job will be taken. So I think that a strategy for that would just the approach or the that do these tools make you a better doctor? So there's that
Mm.
angle where can we design tools that make you a better doctor from the identity standpoint? And then can we get the perception inside the profession to not consider certain things what makes a great optometrist? Because eventually what you might find is objectively someone will build an algorithm that they'll benchmark against human optometrist scores. And if it's better, even though technically it's not better, but if it's better on paper, then it might opinion. And it's so yeah, that's my farmer analogy, but I think it's an identity thing more than it is actually like a true fear. Uh, because people like people.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel that as much as like, series like Black Mirror scares me at times,
Yeah.
but to be honest, if done it in the right way, and if we are the trailblazers or if we are at the forefront of it, I'm sure we can have the best narrative or the best use case of technology and also keep in our identity. I really liked how you kind of did break it down and share that analogy of how we have to make sure that we still do which is relevant, and we can kind of use the technology to support us and assist us to kind of be better and be able to serve more patients. At the end of the day, that's the goal.
Right, exactly. And to your point, like the Black Mirror scenario happens when someone who's not in optometry is making the
Yes,
devices. It's like that's scary.
that
Uh,
is.
I don't know if you've seen like some of the devices coming out from companies, and I'm like, oh, it's going to be interesting.
Well, I have seen some, I can't say all, but that's why I keep saying about like Black Mirror is soon going to be a reality. So let's be at the forefront of it. And I love talking about eye care and technology, and who better to share the same passion than you being here on this channel.
Oh yeah, I'm a fan, so I'm happy to be here. It's like a blessing. Crosses off my bucket list.
You're too kind. But let's talk about your entrepreneurship, because like as you mentioned, right, like you decided to do it on your own, build your own thing. How was that journey? Like, tell me a little more about what do you do? What have you built? And how was that journey?
Okay, let's see. Let's start with we'll just start really from scratch. So I at first the digital marketing thing, I realized you can use GPT for digital
Mhm.
marketing. So I would contract a couple of small businesses. They'd pay me to do their marketing and SEO. So that was like the original start. And I don't really consider that entrepreneurship because I think you need at least two people to be a true entrepreneurial thing. But I think that was the gateway into it.
Mhm.
And then I'll say with the AOSA, the first, I guess, true entrepreneurial thing. Ooh, gotta back it up. Sorry. There's a company, Breezum, that makes 3D printed glasses.
Mhm.
There's they have a flagship store in New York. From the digital marketing experience, I got a role there helping with commercialization and introducing the product to the US. So that was my first team. There was three of us, and you get to do a lot with a little. And that's one of the best parts of entrepreneurship, like just finding a way to solve the problem with what you have. From there, then on, we started with Eyedeal with Nathan, my vice president at AOSA, and what its job is to be a clinician decision support tool that helps find pathology in the retina. Um, that I'd say is difficult because it's technology that's fairly new, and then there are all types of FDA processes. And if you talk to certain, like say, venture capital people, people t you have to jump through a lot of hoops and seeing it dance. And there's just like a million things to do that you'll never finish doing, and most people won't understand. So
Mhm.
that is difficult. But then rolling after that, you get to ODX Health, which it's a project of my own with two other individuals. And I feel like again, it's difficult, sure, but you kind of, as you go through this process, you get better and better, and you realize like
Yes.
mentors important,
Hmm.
being selfless important, recognizing who you are is probably more important than anything because you'll know exactly what you're not good at and what you should outsource or delegate.
Yeah.
Uh, Being vulnerable, talking to customers, talking to users. Like talking to users is more valuable than any brainstorming you'll do.
Hmm.
Um, just you learn, you pick up on little tactics and just ways of getting things done in the real world versus in your head. And I think there's an entrepreneurship quote I like that says like you take a plant, turn it into medicine. You take a rock and turn it into fuel from like coal.
Hmm.
I think it's like the only way you can do that is being in the real world. You can never think that into existence. So I would say that that was the long-winded answer, but that's the entrepreneurial experience.
No, but that is great for anybody who has ideas and are thinking of like how to bring idea into reality. I think these are great tips that you shared. And 2 years ago, when I had briefly met you and Nathan, right, at the academy meeting, I knew you guys had just started and you all were like trying to kind of, jump off those hoops and trying to meet people. And that I could see the difference of meeting you back then, the easy then versus easy now is
The
much more
green one.
confident, is like he knows his identity, he knows what he's doing, he's probably gone through a lot of challenges overall. He's like, I know this won't work, and these are the things, or these are the ways how I'm going to navigate and get my things done. And I think that is a great attitude, irrespective of whether you're going to invent something or you are an entrepreneur. Even as a practitioner, we go through so many challenges every single day while we're seeing our patients and we're trying to solve their problems. And I
Yeah.
think having that entrepreneurial spirit to make your business grow better, to have new products or new things to offer to your patients should be your key goal in whatever you're trying to do. Like having that curiosity and trying to get to answers versus getting fixed to the problems.
Oh, for sure. For
And I
sure.
think I think you shared a very good way of like, looking at things.
Yeah, I would say like the problem is where the thinking should start. You know, people tend to turn it off when they see the problem. I think it's interesting. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And it always appears to be so big before you get started. And they're like, hi, it wasn't that bad, right?
That's a big one for me. Oh, their problems are 10 times bigger in my head. Like, gotta write it down or something. That's so true. Yeah.
That's wonderful. One other amazing thing you mentioned that was about mentorship. And can you tell me a little more how do you identify mentors, or what was your process? Did you have any process? Did you just bump into good people who mentored you? How
Sometimes,
did that happen?
sometimes though, honestly, mentoring. I love the idea of mentoring because I think it's one of the most important things, and it's mainly about one recognizing that there's probably an older version of you. And if you met an older version of you and you knew they were you and they'd be cool. You wouldn't be nervous or anything. It's like, oh, this is just me. And that's kind of how I've experienced it with mentors. It's like, oh, this person's just
Yeah.
old me or older me. So, so I've never really been afraid to reach out because I know the old version of myself would respond. You know, I've never
Mhm.
been afraid to ask to meet because the old version of myself would want to meet. So I'm just honestly a bit fearless when it comes to actually meeting mentors. And a lot of the times, sometimes they can think that younger people are standoffish or something. And of course, we're not trying to be, but who knows? So it's for me, it's just going out there and reaching out to someone I think is interesting who's working on something cool. And then I always say, don't ask them something that someone randomly on the street can ask them. Like someone on
Yeah.
the street can ask you, what's it like to start a podcast?
Yeah.
But someone can't say about episode 6 when you're talking about this and that. It's like, oh, this person gets it. They care.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's been my big thing with mentors. Like I really actually care enough of a threshold to where I want to reach out. And then in doing that, I find out if we're friends. I don't understand the dynamic of like, like the superior inferiority thing. No, it's just like, are we good friends? And that's been very helpful. I've had some great mentors
Yeah.
in the profession, some people I look up to, and outside the profession, even in the computer science realm.
Yeah.
It's been really cool. It's a blessing. So I hope there's some insight in there somewhere, but
Yes. Also, I have to. So, oh my God, I don't know why you're questioning your answers. Like, it's so good. So, I think this is very important. So, I'll tell you a little bit about how I perceive it. So, from my background in India, right? I did my optometry back in India, and we do have a very known hierarchical system in India. Like, you always call your seniors like sirs and madam, and like, you're always known to kind of respect them. And there is that gap which you're saying, like, you don't think about it. while it is different in United States, they could be very friendly and they will support you, they'll help you, but there is that known gap back there. But when I come here, right, and then when you start talking people or addressing people from their first name, you still sometimes look at approaching the mentors with that superiority feeling that, oh, you know what, they're senior to me, because that's what was drilled in my head. And it took me a lot of time to think, no, this is going to be like a partnership or a friendship or a long-term relationship. I learn
Right.
from them, but they'll also be happy to help because that's what they're looking in for. And I never actually thought about it as like an older self that can definitely ease up so many conversations because then you'll be less in awe and more in reality.
I mean, I'm sure older you is going to be 10 times cooler than anybody. So it's, yeah, but I definitely still do the doctor thing and I get in trouble
Yeah.
for it, but I can't help it.
Yes.
Like I can't do it. I can't cover for it.
I can't do that as well. But yes, I totally, there are a few mentors who I have known for years. They are like my friends and family, but I still call them sir and ma'am. I just can't get that thing out of me. And they're like, Ukti, it's embarrassing. Stop saying this. And I'm like, ah.
Oh, my dad, sir. So it's not going anywhere. True.
Because my one other reason of asking about mentorship is sometimes because the topics that you're working on, like AI, technology, telehealth, are very sensitive still in our industry. And then when you talk about these things, it could be taken in a way, oh, like, what are you working on? Like, did you have any negative responses or did you have any roadblocks in presenting your ideas or saying that you're working on these things? Did you ever encounter those experiences?
A mentor specifically or just in
No,
general?
in general, in general. It could be a mentor, it could be some in general.
For sure. So a lot of my mentors do have a better grasp of optometry, the
Mm,
profession, and so they tend to give you information about what a doctor is thinking. That's a bit of how I got to the whole value idea versus efficiency for innovation,
mm,
um, just from that. And then definitely, it's just every now and then there'll be someone who says like, "No, that's a bad idea." That's just a part of it, though, right? With
yeah.
entrepreneurship, especially. So I always try to say, like, in my head, I just keep like a no tracker. Like, okay, this thing is probably 58 no's away from being successful.
Wow, a note tracker.
You
That's
know,
a very cool term.
you have to come with these tricks in the entrepreneur world. It's difficult. But like, yeah, if you keep enough no's in your head, like, say you think this is 1,000 no's. If you get there before 1,000, then that's awesome, and you won't lose the faith. But definitely, yeah, a lot of people have, I guess, spoken against um, certain ways of presenting ideas. Never really the
Mm,
idea itself,
mm,
but definitely ways of presenting ideas because of perceptions. I mean, there's a bad side where the AI takes your job, but then there's the quote good side, but it's also bad where you're overusing the technologies in ways
yeah.
you should. So like some people are using ChatGPT for some interesting things that I wouldn't recommend. So that's probably the most I've gotten. But I tend to take advice. I
Mm,
really believe the average is a better gauge than like myself.
mm.
But I'm grateful no one's really just struck me down. I guess I'm very selective on people. I like to hang around people.
But I really like having this no tracker. I really love that. And I mean, I know you're talking from entrepreneurship ideas and like, building on that. But I would present it even in another situation about say getting a right job or getting into right role, right? There are so many people like, what if? I'm like, it's just going to be an interesting story. Or you
Right.
will take like 10 no's before you land to a right job or a right role or like having your own practice, like, right? So that no tracker could be for anything that you want to achieve. It doesn't have to be an innovation, but it is definitely an entrepreneur mindset that will help you get to your goal. And that's what I love having this conversation with you about.
Thank you.
So tell me a little more about talking about AI and smart technologies, right? How do you feel it will redefine our industry? Like, what are your thoughts on that topic?
I think that AI and smart talk. I'll have to separate them in my head. I think kind of like I mentioned before with AI. Right now, the biggest promise I can make, I believe, is that it will keep doctors practicing at their optimal best because that's what would get a consistent stream of information and data, and you can build models off of that. I think that'll be very interesting. I think that eye care has some of the we use some of the most technology as any other health profession, but then we also have the commercial side, and we also
Yeah.
have components that are optics and we have components that are just all over the place. I think that collecting all this data and processing it could possibly build models that could have insights that could change healthcare. A good example, people talk about sleep apnea
Yeah.
and that studying the data. I think that'll be interesting, especially now with people doing more biomarkers work.
Mm.
Um, I think I think the implications of mixing and merging and finding just things from that data will be interesting. Secondly, I think that from the patient standpoint, I think there's a possibility where we get a lot of people trying to build AI models that do our job. And so
Mm.
there may be a point where we have to define what it is that we do that's different from the model. Hopefully not sooner than later, but that'll be very
Yes.
important. Um, and there might be possibly some conflict between the perception of what eye care is, I think, between the public and the professionals, just because of AI.
Mm.
Hmm. Yeah, because yeah, that's I don't know if you want me to go more granular. I apologize for airy.
No, this is good. You up to you. You can go in more details. It's completely up to you. If you have more thoughts about things that we need to be more focused about, things we need to work on. I really like the way you mentioned about making sure that we know what we're doing and we are excelling or getting better at that,
Mhm.
just so that we don't fear about AI or technology taking away our jobs. If you still do the same thing that people were doing like 40 years ago, of course technology will
For
overcome.
sure, yeah, yeah, and I call it the cautious embrace. Like we have to cautiously embrace.
Yeah,
Like you force someone who knows nothing about technology to flip a coin that says fear or abuse, right? And like those two
right.
ends. It's like there has to be a way so that the general doctor who doesn't even care about AI has enough information in their mind to know what's good and what's not, and then that the people at the forefront of the profession are in those rooms that are developing the software,
Mm.
collecting data, showing the value of just eye care, and just generally doing representing us like we want them
Yes.
to, you know, uh, uh, truly. And then as far as technology, I think wearables would be interesting. I think
Yes.
that I would love for as you put your Oculus or your Apple Vision Pro, it says like, hey, be sure to, I don't know, blink 2020 per the American Optometric Association. Like just
Mm.
something there. Like we're having a device with a screen that's on our face. I feel
Yeah.
like optometry's bread and butter. It's like someone's already asked me, like, hey, why do my eyes burn in my Quest? I'm like, oh, well, I don't do armchair optometry, but I'm just kidding. But generally though,
Yeah,
so I think that wearables are interesting. Yeah.
definitely. And I completely agree with all the innovations happening in wearables. I'm glad we have already embraced some part of it in some pre-testing part of our eye care industry, but I'm sure there's so much more that we can do with wearables and data, and we can get insights like never before. So, looking forward to more entrepreneurship from you and from probably all my listeners as well. They might come up with ideas, build something that the whole industry can benefit from.
That's the hope. That's the hope.
Yes, so now I think we did talk a lot about technology, your journey, but it's time for our game segment. And I have a game called Boomer Lingo because I'm sure you would be using most of these uh, newer languages, which is probably being difficult for so many. So, are you ready for the Boomer Lingo game?
I'm ready. I might be surprisingly good. We'll see.
All right, we'll see. Okay, FOMO.
FOMO?
Hmm.
Fear of missing out,
Good. IMO.
in my opinion,
Okay. FTW.
for the win.
All right. Flex.
Flex.
Flex. Like it does not have to be an abbreviation. It could also mean
Yeah. Like
like,
to show off
yes. Okay. Lit.
on fire.
Uh, you can say, can you go a little,
Lit is awesome
yeah, super exciting or excellent. Yeah. IRL.
in real life.
Okay. Salty.
Disgusting. No, 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 no. No, bitter. Bitter. I just don't like salt. That was a personal one. Bitter. Bitter. Bitter is the word. Yep.
Oh my God, you're so good at it. Perfect. You got them all. Good job.
Oh, there it is. I needed a win for the day.
All right. Are you ready for a second game section as well?
Oh no.
Oh no, it's a simple one. It's just to know you a little more. The
Yeah,
game is called this or that. You just have to choose your preferences. That's it.
good for it. I'm ready.
All right. Are you a dog person or a cat person?
Cat for sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Phone call or text? What do you prefer?
Phone call.
Okay. Glasses or contact lenses?
I'll take lenses. Scleros.
Oh. Online shopping or shopping in store?
Is there neither?
Me? Uh, no, if you
Neither.
none? Oh, okay. Okay. Cake or ice cream?
Cheesecake.
Cheesecake. All right. Oceans or mountains?
Deep ocean.
Okay. Horror movie or comedy?
Both bad.
Both
If I had to choose, I'd pick comedy, I guess.
comedy. Okay. All right. And most important thing in your partner, being intelligent or funny?
Intelligent.
Intelligent.
I can be funny. I'm just funny existing.
All right, that's wonderful. I definitely know a lot more. Next time we meet, we definitely have to go and have a cheesecake for
Oh,
sure.
for sure.
So
For
I
sure.
think that was the goal of this game. I think you did wonderful.
Thank you.
And before I let you go, Easy, just give me a quick takeaway message for all my listeners.
Um, Hello, everyone. Quick takeaway is to embrace technology. If you have something that you're very passionate about, go for it. And just do your best every day because that's the most that you can ever ask for.
That is wonderful. Thank you so much, Easy, once again for sharing all your insights, for doing such an amazing job within the industry and taking it to the next level for all of us. Really appreciate all you do and a very warm welcome again to the Nerdy family.
Thank you. Bye. Take care.
Bye.